Mike Mallett here from DirtTrackDigest.com for round number 4 of the Dirt, as we're calling it here. We've made our way all the way to Connecticut. I thought Monday I went down and chatted with Billy Van Pelt. That was a little bit of a ride. I went to Pennsylvania, but this one, man, we're out there. We're sitting here in the shop of LJ Lombardo. And LJ, first off, man, you live way out here. Like, I come out here, I think pavement racing. I'm thinking Stafford, Thompson, those places. And here we are. We're in Danbury, and we're sitting in your shop, and all we see is big block modifieds behind us.
Yeah, no, everybody in Danbury thinks the opposite. All they think about is asphalt, and we think about dirt. But no, we're not very centrally located for what we do, and everybody sees that. And it's not easy where we come from. You go to all these parts stores around here, you could buy stuff for asphalt modifieds, but they look at you and they say, "Why do you race dirt?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's kind of it's a drug. You can't get out of it."
Well, talk about that. What got you into dirt racing? How does somebody from here? We are only, you said, about an hour from the Orange County Fair Speedway. So that's close. But again, everything else, it's a haul. It's got to be a couple hours up to Lebanon Valley and so on. So what got you into racing, and how did you get to this point now where we're racing big block modifieds? I know you spent some time at Middletown, and some race some other places as well.
Yeah, so my grandfather used to own cars back in the old Danbury races, and Danbury had a track, an asphalt track, and where I got the dirt from, I don't really know. But, no, he owned a couple cars there, and my father's been involved with it his whole life. And right before my father was of age to build a car, they shut the track down. So he started to look elsewhere to be able to race himself or with his brother or, anybody in our family. So he raced for, I don't know, maybe a couple times in an asphalt car, and wasn't really for him. So when the kids were born, we all got in go-karts, and we went to Lebanon Valley Speedway up by Middletown. Mm-hmm. And we used to leave Oakland Valley. They'd get done around like 6, 7 o'clock at night. We'd rush right to Middletown, and I was always a Brett Hearn fan, so was my father. So we'd go there and watch Brett race against Danny Johnson every Saturday night. So that's where the modifieds came into play.
Talk about your progression in your career. You mentioned go-karts. Where did you go? Talk about those steps to get us to where now, weekly campaigner in the big blocks.
So I started racing go-karts when I was 3 years old. We lied about my age so I could race because my brothers are always older than me. But I raced till I was about 10, and we traveled everywhere from Florida. We went to Daytona a couple times, and as far west as go-karts really took us. But traveling always made us better with that. So I moved into mini sprints, and I raced micro sprint cars, and that took off pretty quickly. I got hurt racing those, which wasn't too good. That was a big downfall and a big step backwards, but I got right back into it again. Once we had success in that, I wanted to get into something a little bit more, bigger and faster. So we started looking at a dirt sportsman, and ever since then, it's just progressed.
What year was it you started the sportsman and made that move into the full-size cars? And I think you ran Middletown, right? That's where you started.
So my first time ever getting into sports, and actually was at Accord Speedway, because my father was scared of the speed at Middletown. And I don't blame him. I tell him all the time, when I have kids, I'm going to be nervous with them in a car too. But so it was 2010 actually, 2010, 2009. At the end of 2009 it was. I had my first laps at Accord, and then both my parents realized I was a little too young for this, and I wasn't even in high school yet. So we took a step back for a couple of years. We put Shane Chablanca in our car. He had a ton of success with my father, and that's really what got our career going, because he told us, you help me out right now, and I'll help your son when he gets into racing, and he definitely did that for me.
So then you run sportsman for a few years, had success in Middletown, won a championship, and then how do you leave Middletown? I grew up a little bit at Middletown. I think we were chatting earlier. I went to Middletown for 4 or 5 years, where my announcing career really got off the ground and working in racing, and I love the place. And now I also grew up at Fonda, and you ended up at Lebanon Valley, which for us Fonda people, that's like sacrilegious. You're not supposed to run Lebanon Valley; it doesn't exist. But how do you leave? Have so much success in the sports ranks at Orange County, and then end up at Lebanon Valley? How did you get there?
So after I moved out of sports and we got our own house 358 car, my father owned our car, and I got a ride in a big block at Middletown with Bill Pasquale. We ran 2 seasons for him. We had a ton of success right out of the box, and I was kind of shocked of how good we really were out of the box. And that was a good program when it lasted. And then we parted ways towards the end of the 2016 season, and then we realized we're always looking for a ride. We can't afford to do this on our own. It's a very expensive sport, and I know everybody out there understands that, and everybody always says that all the time, but it's the truth. We own our own family business, and we're not millionaires, so we always look for help from everybody. And so we figured, we had a ride at Middletown, and, rides don't come every single day, so we wanted to, go further away and see if we can get better on the road. And 2016, while I was racing 4-wheel, we raced Albany-Saratoga, and we got a lot of relationships with people there, and obviously a lot of people race Malta, race the Valley. So they kind of got us hooked on that, and I was nervous to tell my father because the Valley is obviously the fastest track around, and I didn't want him to go opening night because he was going to tell me we're not allowed to go back. But no, so when we went to the Valley, we said we have one season to do this, and we didn't have the money to do it. That place is definitely one of the most expensive ones to run, and I got to win my 6th race at the Valley. And the day after we won, Paul Wino from Snap-on Tools called me, and he wanted to start to take over our whole operation here. And
we'll show you that here in the video. We got some cars going together and things happening back there. Discuss racing at the Valley weekly. Traditionally that, as you said, it's an expensive place to race, but it's a tough field as well. I mean, for most of those years you had Brett Hearn. Other than this year, you have Andy Becchetti, you got J.R. Hefner, and I mean I could go on, and Kenny Tremont and Eddie Marshall, and I could keep going. What's it like racing there, not having the experience? I mean, those guys are experienced guys, and I don't want to call Andy old. Sorry if Andy watches this, but those guys are experienced guys. They've been around a long time. And how tough was that to cut your teeth, in the big blocks running at Lebanon Valley Place again with all that speed, and it can be tough at times to pass.
Yeah, the talent, obviously, like you said, is there. It's all there, really. And, it's hard to run against these guys on a slick track up north, but when you go to the Valley, it kind of scares people away is really what it does. And they all have the horsepower we have. They have the cars we have, so it comes down to driver at that point. And, to pass the Valley, if you don't hit it spot on, you have a quarter-mile drag strip to catch back up. That's the hardest part about it, but no, I mean, I always wanted to test my skills out compared to these guys. And when Brett said he was leaving, I was actually upset about it. I was probably the only person that was upset. But
well, you were a fan, right? Are you still a fan?
No, I mean, when you get behind him, you want to pass him the same way you want to pass the rest of them. But he taught me a lot, at the Valley. I've watched Brett race there for a few years, and when he passes you the same way every single week, you start to realize why. So I don't know, man. It just started to click last year, and now that we got these new PMC race cars, it starts to suit me a lot better, and our program at the Valley really stepped up.
Let's talk 2019. Successes, failures, things that you thought went really well for you, and things you're like, oh, crap, we should have done that better.
There's always things you could do better. But you can win, and, you don't win by enough is usually what you tell yourself when you come home. But, no, we had a killer year, honestly. The end of the year didn't end the way we wanted it to, but all season long we didn't have part failures. We had 2 DNFs at Lebanon Valley that were motor issues, and honestly I could blame on myself. There were overheating issues during the day, and day racing there is not easy. That place starts to get a little dusty and radiators get clogged up, and I take full blame for that. But biggest thing is your engine program has to stay 100%. It can't be 90% because I could tell you right now, Tremont or Becchetti, these all guys, they're not putting used motors in their cars. So we stepped it up last year, and our engine program was there, and it showed. Yeah.
This year, or even thinking back, what was one race that might have maybe slipped away from it that you think about, you still kick yourself going like, damn it, why did I do this, or why didn't I do that? Or on the flip side of it, is there a race where you're like, hey, we got lucky and this all worked out, and hey, I got that one back?
I think the one that got lucky for us is our last lap pass at the Valley. It was a $5,000 to win race, and I got to second with about 3 laps to go, and John Rochelle was gone. And I told myself, you know what, second is it's a decent payday, and the caution came out on the last lap, and I was like, all right, now's my time to shine. So I slide jobbed him in 3 and 4 and got the win. But ones that got away, Oswego's one big one that comes to my mind. We didn't even make the show in the 358, and that kind of hurts. You run a big block all year against these guys, and you compete against these guys, and then you go up there and you don't even make the race. But I got to take the blame for that one too. I stuffed it in the fence with the fastest car, in our heat race. My crew lets me know about it every time we talk about it. But that's one that makes me, not sleep at night.
How hard is it to leave the Valley? Again, a place, your motor, hammer down, drag strip, turn left, drag strip back, and then you travel outside of that and you go to a place like Oswego where it is slippery. That is Central New York slick, in October. How do you adjust for that, when you race weekly at the Valley? It's obviously it takes a different setup, different set of skills really to be competitive at a place like Oswego.
Yeah, so obviously your setups can be a lot different, but a lot of it's mental, and I think a lot of drivers out there will definitely agree with this, but, when you go to Middletown 2 years ago, you could blow it into turn 1 as hard as you can, the car will kind of have some grip, and now you do that, you're going to be sitting on Wisner Avenue, but no, when you go to these slick tracks, the more you run them, the better you get, and I was actually kind of shocked with how good we were at Middletown. So when the season was over, we went there for Champions Night because the Valley was done, and they did that whole time trial practice deal, and we were fourth quick right out of the box, lap 1 out of practice. And I looked at everybody, I'm like, I don't know. Usually we're not that we're bad, but to go there for the first time in however many months, we were really good out of the box. So that was a huge energy booster for all the end of the year shows on these slick tracks. And then we went to Utica, and we were good at Utica. We had a part failure there in a small block, but that was none of our faults, that's for sure. But no, I mean, these slick tracks are not easy. And, when you talk about Matt Williamson, it's one person everybody talked about all year, and he runs on them every week. Mm-hmm. There's not a racetrack they go to that has a ton of bite all night long. Like, Bridgeport was hammered down on the 5/8, and Lebanon Valley's hammered down most of the time. So, if you run just those two types of tracks, it's hard to travel, and that's where it comes into play with us. It gets tough when you start to hit the road. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned your program. You mentioned you're running PMC cars at Lebanon Valley, and we know PMC, and it's Pete Schuchta, and he is a guy at the Valley that everybody knows that his cars are going to go well at the Valley, and you've shown that. Other guys have shown that. He's a smaller guy. You look at Bicknell, you look at Teal, you look at what those guys have been able to do with how large their things are. You and I were joking about Bicknell and all the things they're able to do for guys. Talk about having that relationship with Pete and running the PMC cars and how that works for you and why you're happy in that situation.
When you make a chassis change, it's a huge deal. And I'm a very loyal person. I always have been. My father's the same way. And, I was saying to you before, loyalty it's hard to come by in this sport. I hate to say that, but, we're that loyal that we stick to exactly what we have. And we weren't good on the road to start the season. And, Pete really dug down deep, and he got us to where we needed to be towards the end of the year. And it's very one-on-one with Pete. I think last year he built 8 cars. And this year I went there a couple weeks ago. He's got 2 cars getting welded. And, there's 1 going on the jig now, so that's 3 right now. And I don't even want to know how many Bicknell's building. So the one-on-one is definitely there. I've heard when you call Randy from Bicknell, he's the one that talks to you, which is awesome because that's what racers want. And Pete definitely does that for me. I mean, I can call him right now on a Friday night, and he's probably sitting there waiting for someone to call him, to bullshit a little bit about what we're going to do next year. But he's been very, very good to me and very good to my program, and anything we've needed, he's been right there for me.
Where do we go now, 2020? What are the plans? Lebanon Valley, on the road? What do you think? I mean, Middletown's got some interesting things going on, too, with the way, the new track service down there and all that. So what are you thinking for 2020?
If I told you right now, I'd be lying to you because I really don't know. I mean, it's people that have car owners understand that it's really wherever he wants to go. He could tell me he wants to go race in Canada every Saturday night, and guess where I'm going on Saturday nights? I'm going to go get my passport, and we're going to Canada. So, no, I mean, it's really up to him. He's in Averill Park right up by Lebanon Valley. So, if he wants to go to the Valley again, we'll go. We're going to gear up for the Valley right now, but last minute changes, we can go pretty much anywhere. I know we're going to run Malta for sure. Weekly, probably not every week, depending on work. With a family business, it's hard, and especially how far away we are, too. It's hard to go on Fridays. You'd have to leave here around 11 o'clock to get there in time. So we'll go there probably about half the season and get better on slick stuff up there. And then, if it's the Valley on Saturday or Middletown or Fonda, I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm not lying when I say that.
If you could come up with the ideal situation for you as a racer, you mentioned your job. We'll get to that, what you do when you're not racing. What would you want to do as a driver? I mean, I hear the draw, the short track super series, the super dirt car series. Guys always talk about those. Is that something that you hopefully want to get to down the road? Absolutely.
I mean, everybody always wants car owners on, all different series, and that's obviously the goal. We're working towards that. My goal now is, I have a Saturday night car owner, and hopefully we can run on a Friday night and get a car owner, on a Friday night, and then start running on the series and stuff like that. And the Super Dirt Car Series has been in my dream ever since I'm a little kid. So that's definitely first on the cards. I'm going to do everything I can to get that, and then whatever comes after that is just got to fall right into place. I mean, the Short Track Super Series is great what they're doing. Their payouts are always awesome, and Brett Deo's done a ton for this sport. And what he's done with Fonda has been phenomenal also. So we look at that as racers because we have to have some kind of, money coming through to make it happen. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to run all the series. If I had car owners everywhere, that's definitely a dream.
Thinking back a couple years ago now, something comes to mind, at Middletown. It was Eastern States weekend, I believe, and there was a really nasty crash there at Middletown, and you had that in-car camera. And I'll try to find that and download it and put that in here. But talk about that incident. I mean, as a driver, you're in the car and you see in the video you see the tire come in there as CG got that inside wall.
Yeah, that was not good. I still feel for CG on that one. It was a deal that probably shouldn't have happened. Middletown actually did a great job this year making the track a lot safer. They slowed it down a lot, for one. That place was getting a little too fast for what it was. And I actually have nightmares of that still. And some drivers will tell you, they get over stuff, but I have a picture actually that I've posted on Facebook, and you could put this one on there also. His rub rail was about less than a foot from my head. And I've had a few friends get killed in these things, and I don't want to do that. That's for sure. And I don't want to see people get hurt. That's never what I want from anybody. But that freaked me out, man. That's not something that sits well in your stomach. That night after that happened, it happened in a Concy, and me and my girlfriend left immediately. We watched the 4-wide salute, and I told her I want to go home. Something's not right. So we got home. I went to the hospital. I had a full-blown pneumonia after that because I broke my ribs. And I just looked at her, and you start to really think about if it's worth it. And then, the off season's there, and you start to think, I don't really want to do this anymore. And then, right around, March, you're like, all right, we got to go. And then you get the sickness again to get back into it.
More positive note. You got some cool checks hanging in here. Which one of these is the favorite, and why?
I don't know if there's a favorite one. I like them all. My goal when I first started, it's funny, is I used to say to my dad all the time, is I want to have a shop full of big checks. But we're getting there a little bit now. It's not enough, obviously, but no, the main one that comes to mind too definitely is the J.C. Flack Memorial one. That one definitely hits home. We've gotten close with the Flack family, and it's definitely a great thing what they do for first-time winners there, and a $500 bonus. It doesn't matter. It could be a dollar bonus. It's just knowing that we won that race or our first race there and got something with JC's name on it. He's a very big name for the Valley when you talk about it, and the whole Flack family is. So that one for sure. And then obviously the $5,000 check one this year was that was cool. That was not something I ever thought was going to happen. It goes a lot more into it. My family, I have a lot of family in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and my idol growing up was my cousin Mike. He raced go-karts for years, and he was there that night. It was our first race he went to all year, and he surprised me coming up, and he was there for the last lap pass. So that one really hits home.
I know the flights out of Myrtle Beach can be a pain because I got some friends in there. So the fact that he made it is impressive because I've never had a good flight out of there.
No, he tries to come up once a year to come watch racing because it's been a dream of his too, and I'm the one that finally gets to sit in the seat and do it. So he says it all the time. He lives his dream through me. So that definitely gets me in the feels every time he says it. But it was cool.
All right, so we talked about the racing. Now we know you're a weekly racer, weekend racer. The weekly wars. That's it. Unfortunately, you obviously want more. But so what do you do to get by and to pass the time to be able to go racing on the weekends?
So I was a diesel mechanic at JRC Transportation in Thomaston, Connecticut, which is actually further away from all the racetracks. But I've done that for a couple years, and actually the day before Mr. Dirt was my last day, I put my 2-week notice in, and I told him I really want to expand and try to race more. And obviously people that race understand that work has to be a part of it, and if you got to race on a Tuesday night, it's like, am I going to use a vacation day to go or not? So I started to do it, full time. Tried to race as much as I can. Went to Oswego, and the problem is right when I started to do it full time, we had nothing but bad results. We blew a drive shaft at Mr. Dirt. We went to Oswego, didn't make the show. Lost brakes. A brake line broke at Eastern State. So there wasn't a good payday at all after that. So I'm trying to do it full time. I actually have a job offer up in the Albany area now that hopefully, it'll work a little bit more with racing centrally located. They've told me if I got to race on a Friday night, I can leave work early. So that's huge. If I don't have enough money coming in, I got to be able to live also. I got a girlfriend at home I got to keep happy, and I'm trying to have my own family one day and buy a house here soon. So it's not easy.
Talk about the support from family. Your dad obviously big into racing, and your girlfriend, I see her with you everywhere you go. So that's got to make it, that much better to have family being involved as they are in the sport with you.
Yeah, our whole team pretty much is our family. I mean, her family came to help me. My tire guys, her father, my crew chief's her brother. My father actually went to the races like 3 times this year, but it's hard for us, like I said, with the family business. Saturday is work day. I get out of work to go now because, we have to race. So No, family's huge with me. My whole life, it's all you have. You know, you gotta keep them close as much as sometimes you get aggravated with them, but they're good. I mean, Mikey's definitely great with me. She does all my apparel. She sells everything we have. I mean, we bought shirts, a full order of shirts at Eastern States with a rain delay, and we sold pretty much everything there. So she's great when it comes to that. She doesn't like when I'm in the shop till 2 o'clock in the morning every night, but you know
I don't think most of them do.
No, she deals with it. Actually, towards the end of the year, she saw how hard it really was getting, so she would actually show up here with dinner, which was pretty cool. But no, our team definitely they put a lot into it, and all the wives allow them to. Thank God. So we're blessed with that.
When you're going away to have some fun, you're not going racing, which this seems to be the hardest question that I ask in these interviews, because everyone's like, well, all we do is race. Or it's, hey, we go snowmobiling. Like, I was in Canada, so to be fair. But what do you do for fun when you're not around racing, you're not at the track, you're not working on the cars?
I don't go snowmobiling because I hate the cold. But, you know,
I think, again, you live in the wrong spot then.
No, you're not lying. And I'm going to move up north more, so I'm really going to hate the cold. But, no, I like to go places that are warm. You know, in February we're going to a wedding out in Mexico, so that'll be cool. We'll be right on the water there. But I just like to hang out with family. You know, we like to gamble. We like to go to the casino. It seems like every time we're going anywhere, me and my girlfriend post on Facebook we're at a casino. But I don't have a gambling issue. You don't have to call anybody. You know, I'm fine, I promise. But no, I definitely like just go out and have a good time, have a few drinks with everybody, and just relax. You know, you gotta take it easy sometimes.
What are you having for a meal when you go there? I like seeing what guys like. So what are you having for dinner if you're going out at the casino? Now, is there a certain game you play at the casino? I'm a blackjack guy myself.
I play roulette. If you zoom in,
that's bad, because there's no odds there, man. It's luck of the draw.
You could lose all your money really quick, and that's usually what happens. You know, I'll bring a set amount of money, and that's usually gone in about an hour, and then I'm pissed off and I want to leave. But no, food-wise, the funny thing is people make fun of me for this, is I don't eat steak. It's not that I don't eat meat.
Okay, I got to go. We're done. No.
I know. Everybody says it. They're like, you're not a man. You know, I'm a cheap date. I always say, you know, if you're going to buy me dinner, you don't have to buy me a sirloin or anything. So, no, I'm a burger guy. I mean, I look for the best burgers, you know, like the Sunrise burger and something with an egg on it. That's usually what I go for.
Hey, I like the egg on it. I'll give you that. Now, the steak thing, I don't know. I'm a steak and shrimp guy myself. So, I love shrimp. But so if you're going to dinner tonight, where are you going? What's the hot spot out here in Danbury? I know if anybody that's in the area watching this, they're like, hey, maybe we'll see LJ there.
Probably Texas Roadhouse. We all year long you can catch us Texas Roadhouse on Friday nights when we're done the shop. Me and my girlfriend try to go there literally like once a week. And when I sit down, it's so bad because they know my order. I get the same thing. I'm a simple eater. I get country fried chicken and that with white gravy, and that's it every single week. It's the funniest thing because as soon as I walk in, they say, "Hello, LJ. Hi, Mikey. Here you guys go." Get the same thing every week.
Do you like the rolls and the butter? That's my question, because I love Texas Roadhouse, and my favorite part about going there, I do get a sirloin, but it's the rolls and the butter.
See, the more rolls I eat, the more I have on my body. So I'm trying to be easy. You know, I can't say I've been at Texas Roadhouse in a couple weeks. I'm trying on this diet thing. It's not going good. Now I'm probably gonna go there tonight because we talked about it. But yeah, no, you guys will see me check in on Facebook tonight.
I got to ask you, outside, hopefully there's some light out there when we're done here. I saw this huge race car on the side, and there's a bunch of grills on it. What is that thing going on outside the shop here?
That is the courtesy of a 30-pack of Bud Light and my father. No, I came in, this was like a week before Eastern States, and my father likes to make this exotic grill. And anybody that knows my father, they understand that he always goes to Eastern States and he brings the party. You know, he wants results. Obviously, there's a time where you got to get the stuff done and work. And, you know, as soon as the sun goes down, the races are over, it's time to relax. And everybody seems to come to our party there. We had the Planks from Dig Race Products. They were there, and the Sabias, and there was a ton of people. Even Peter Britton actually was at our camper this year. But, no, I walked in, this was a week before Eastern States, and I looked at him, I said, Dad, what the hell are you doing? He took the body off the side of the car, and he put it on the trailer outside, doors and quarters. I said, that's all right, we don't need it, I guess, we'll just have to put new ones on. But no, it's funny because people understand that's going to stay like that all year. He actually wants to leave it like that for when we bring a backup car. If we don't have our new hauler by then, he wants to bring the backup car with a body outside of it. I'm like, Dad, you are so burnt. But I can't blame him. He likes to have a good time, and so do we. So he makes it easy for us.
That's awesome. I rolled right in and I wasn't sure where I was going. Then all of a sudden I'm coming down the street and the directions told me to go around the corner. And I look, I'm like, I think I just missed it because there's a race car body on the side of a trailer. But, hey, man, I appreciate your time. It's been an honor here coming all the way out here to Danbury, Connecticut. And hopefully you have a great 2020 racing season. I didn't even screw it up that time. That was pretty good because, it's still, you're thinking 2019, 2020. But, again, thanks for the pleasure coming out here and chatting with you. And hopefully the folks at home are enjoying it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for watching, too. Dirt Track Digest does a great thing with these guys. To see what these racers do behind the scenes is huge, and, we're looking forward to it. We got a lot of really good partners this year, and hopefully we can see you guys in one of your local tracks.
And that'll do it here for this episode, number 4 of The Dirt here, presented by Dirt Track Digest for LJ Lombardo. I'm Mike Mallett, and hopefully keep checking out our YouTube channel. We'll have more of these as the winter goes on.